Hey everybody, this is Dr. Colosimo, and I welcome you here to this new thing that we're calling Senior Review 2024. We've got Saxton and Maddie here with me. We're doing a series of interviews I shouldn't say interviews, maybe like a conversation's a better way to say it, about senior life and school life and graduation. And so we're just going to have a little bit of a conversation. And Saxton, why don't we just start with you? Can you talk a little bit about like your entry here at Juan Diego and how did you get started with us?
So I started when I was in kindergarten. I remember walking in the first day to my Mrs. Hargrove's kindergarten class. And I went throughout all school, and I remember in 8th grade, something happened, and it was like a little bit of a change. And I just remember being like, I gotta leave this place for some reason. And I left and came back my sophomore year of high school. And it was actually such a great change to come back into a really structured environment and something that was,
So you've been here, you from kindergarten through 8th grade, then you missed 9th grade, then you came back 10th through 12th grade.
Yes.
So you're almost a lifer, not quite a lifer.
I actually am. I fit the qualifications because it was only a year.
Because we give you 1 year grace period.
Yeah.
So you're a lifer.
Yes.
Yeah. And Maddie, what about you? Are you a lifer?
Yes, I'm also a lifer. I came in kindergarten and have gone since.
So you're 13 years.
Yeah.
So say a little bit about your time at Fountain Campus.
So yeah, like I said, I've been here since kindergarten, and looking back at my time here now, I'm so grateful that I've been able to grow up in such a community-based place where, like, some of my friends who go to like public school, they have switched schools with every new change, and so I've just been able to grow up, and like I've known Saxton since I was 5 years old, and there's 40 lifers now, so there's just like a group of people who I've just grown up with and really have had the time to just.
I think that's the largest lifer group we've ever had. I think 40 is, so just so for those of you who don't know, we celebrate lifers, and a lifer is defined as a student that is on our campus for at least 12 years. So you qualify because of the 13 years. Saxton, you've been here 12, and Maddie, you qualify because you're a K through 12er. And we have a little tradition around graduation that you're going to find out about, or maybe you know some of that, but we try to celebrate lifers because you've been here all of your life. We have some lifers that come when they're newborn babies. Like I think Mr. Tack was a newborn lifer that came like 6 weeks of age. He was in the daycare and stayed all the way through his senior year, and now he's back with us. So it's kind of interesting how that tradition is.
Super lifer.
Yeah, super lifer, probably wants an award or something. So talk to me a little bit about like our traditions, and not so much the way we deal with food around our traditions. Like what's your perception about how we bring food into so many of the things we do on campus here?
I think that like it's really important. Like any time we have like a big event or something, it's like what is it, campus life dinner or something. We always have like this big ceremony, and it's done up really well.
So like other schools would have a campus life award ceremony.
Right.
But what do?
We have a dinner afterwards, and we have people speak at that, and then we're surrounded by family and friends.
And we do that with sports too. Like all of our sports teams have food, and
it's
like we're having a lot of food on this campus,
Mrs. Baker, she works hard.
Christina Baker does that. And I think it's part of like Mr. Brunetti and myself. Like we grew up in these Italian homes, and like there was just something about having food that connected with community.
Right.
That's really a big tradition we have, is we always try to have food, And then color. We're big on roses, and we're big on, the group before was talking about purple, and like I don't know why that ends up being the case, but so much of what we're trying to do in our Catholic faith is to celebrate it. And to Maddie, why don't you talk a little bit about that? Was there like a faith experience? Everyone's talked about Kairos, and you can talk about that, but have you had a faith experience at some point during your time here that you'd like to share and talk about?
I personally, when I was in elementary school, I liked how we had weekly mass. I think that was a big I don't know, turning point in my like religious growth, because I loved going. I genuinely loved going to church because I got to go with my friends, but also I think the priest when I was growing up made it super special for the kids to learn, and I think that that started like my deep rooted faith. And then growing up into like the middle school and high school, the masses that we do, I think we put so much effort into them being like a special event. I think we do a really nice job of making those masses, even though they're not in like a church, they're either in our gym or our auditorium. I think they're super special.
Do you think that's because the masses are constructed around what works for students and not so much for adults?
Yes, I think that having them, I don't know, I think like having our friends be in the choir, like seeing people like our peers do the readings and stuff, I think it helps engage the student body overall.
I love the music. I always am like this. So sometimes they ask me to sing. I'm not in the choir, but sometimes they ask me to sing and I'm just sitting there.
Do you have a good voice?
Sort of. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I've been to musicals and stuff, so it's really nice to just sit there in the back and preach and praise God, honestly.
And try to have songs that are more fitting for what, students are interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's right. I credit Mr. Bernetti for a lot of that, but we kind of had that idea that if the students created the mass, they would tend to create masses that other students would like, instead of the adults creating the mass, which may or may not fit with what students enjoy. But I think that's been a winning formula, is to have students actually build the mass experience. And we don't have food at mass other than the body and blood of Christ, but usually we have something after.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big thing. But
that's where student faith and liturgy comes from.
that's where they do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, guys.
Yes.
Good talking to you. It's going to be fun for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
Busy week.
Right. Don't flunk out in the meantime.
Trying.
Try not to. Are you done with your AP stuff for the most part?
Yes, I had my last one last week.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you. Yeah.